Good morning. Welcome to another edition of The Night Shift. It's been discussed with me, not disgusted or upset, but let's just say I've recently had a talk about the idea of being pro-black. And it's been expressed to me that one cannot be pro-black unless one is married to a black woman. And I'm coming to you, the viewer. You know what I mean? Because I don't talk to nobody else but my people. So I'm talking to you, the viewer. If one is born from a black woman, brother to a black woman, has black women or black daughters, so he's raising black females, but is not married. And we're not talking about a white female, because that's another subject, a whole another matter. I'm talking about is not married to who's married to a non-black female, not a white one, but not a black one. And when we define black, the definition of black that we're going to use is not one of the diaspora, but one of America, black America, a black American woman. We seem to be the ones that have the biggest issue with this. We seem to be the ones that want to say, you're black enough, or you're too black, or you're not black enough. If you didn't do this black, or you didn't do that right, then you can't be qualified for this, you can't be qualified for that. But when the shit hits the fan like Montgomery, Alabama, don't nobody care what you're married to, just as long as your black skin shows up to protect the other black people that are there. These type of rules and regulations, our people always throw in the middle of bringing unity together. We always tend to throw these things at each other, which inherently tear us apart. So my question is, what defines pro-blackness? Does one have to be married to a black woman to consider himself pro-black, or to consider himself for his people, living for his people, learning for his people, or trying to protect his people? Does one have to be married to a black woman knowing all the things that black women have done to black men? Hindsight the last 50 to 60 years? Knowing the dysfunctionality between the two genders inside the American borders? That it's something that we're not even at a point to where we can cohesively respect each other and get along, much less mate and have sex. And if I decide to take a different route, or if one decides to take a different route, to start his family with another non-black female that's melanated just like he is, he can't be pro-black or for his people, or a pan-Africanist, or for his people within the diaspora or within the continent. I've always wondered these things, because a lot of great intellectuals and minds that have given us the knowledge and understanding that we have about white supremacy, racism, about loving black people, and about loving ourselves, a lot of those cats didn't marry black women. A lot of those cats married non-black women and still came up with the things that they came up with for black people. So my question on the night shift to the viewer is this: what defines pro-blackness? Can you be pro-black married to a black woman knowing that black women have actively campaigned to destroy black men within the last 50 to 60 years? Now, of course, I'm not getting on here saying that all black women did this, but a vast majority, I would say 75 to 80% actively campaigned to destroy black men. Would I say one cannot be pro-black if he chooses not to date or marry black women who wear t-shirts, or who have said they would wear t-shirts that said, if I'm having a black baby boy, I'm gonna abort it? That actively say it is right for the 20 million dead black children that they're tallying up right now against black women, saying that they've legally murdered their kids? Should I have to marry a woman of that nature to be considered pro-black? And if I don't marry a woman like that, or I'm not going through the turmoil with a black woman of that nature, I don't love my people. When I myself am a black man and I'm raising black children, doesn't matter who I marry, the children will always be black. If you marry a non-black person, you know what I'm saying, and you have kids with that person, those children are black. Shouldn't you still have a concern for black women and the correction and the discipline and the upliftment of and the love of black women, when you know that if you're having daughters from another non-black woman, your daughter's going to be a black child herself? It's going to be a black woman? It's a question that ponders and boggles the mind. How are we going to define what pro-black is? Can only Americans, are Americans more pro-black than Africans? Yet Africans don't really consider or use the title black because they're Africans. And we all know the color and the melanin and everything comes from Africa. And over here, we have a completely different way of life and ideology and culture outside the diaspora because of colonialism and slavery. Yet we're the ones that constantly want to define what pro-black is and what pro-black isn't. Yet we can't define or control our own women and families, but we can dictate who's pro-black and who's not pro-black. To be pro-black, does that mean you have to be single and not have a relationship, not have a wife? So you can say, I'm going to establish myself as being pro-black. If I can't get a black woman, then I'm just going to have to be alone. How does that help the race? How does that prolong the future? Or how does that kickstart the kids into the future if you don't procreate and you don't teach the children or your children what you're learning right now? Hit me up in the comment section. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think. The question is, what defines pro-blackness? And if being married to a black woman defines pro-blackness, how is that possible when you know the black women in America have actively campaigned against you, the black man, for 60 plus years? They wrote books about your destruction. They've celebrated your destruction. They celebrate black men's death to this day. Kevin Samuels, that's just one to name a few. That's just one that pops off their head to name a few. They actively they actively protest and program the seeds against you right now, as we speak. And so if you don't interact with women of this nature, you choose to start your family with women that are more conclusive to what you want in your life, does that now make you not pro-black, even though you're still trying to protect your black seeds and your black family outside the diaspora? Hit me in the comment section, let me know what you think. And as always, stay extremely dangerous.